To process a sale in the BNG gateway, simply click on Sale under the credit card section, input the credit card number, input the expiration date, and input the amount you wish to charge. The card security code is not required, although it is recommended as it is a fraud prevention measure. When including billing information, the minimum recommended information is including the address or the house number, as well as the zip code. If your customer requires an emailed receipt, simply input their email address into the text field and check the Send Receipt Email option before clicking the Charge button. Once a transaction has been successfully charged, you can access it by going into Reports, setting your search criteria, and hitting the Submit button in the Search Transaction section. Clicking on the ID link will bring you into the Transaction Detail view. From the Transaction Detail view, you have additional options to either void the transaction, refund the transaction, charge this card number again, print the receipt, or email the receipt one more time. The difference between voids and refunds is that voids can only be performed the same day the transaction has been authorized. After the daily settlement has occurred, refund will be your only option in the case of a canceled transaction. When wishing to void a transaction, simply click on Void under the credit card section and input the transaction ID. If you do not know the transaction ID, simply clicking the paper with the magnifying glass icon will take you to the reports for you to search for that transaction. Once the transaction has been found, simply click on Void, and the transaction ID will be pre-filled for you. Clicking on Void will void the transaction. To process a refund, simply click on Refund under Credit Card, input the transaction ID and the amount. If you do not know the transaction ID, click the paper with the magnifying glass, enter your valid search criteria, click Submit, click on the ID link for the transaction you wish to refund, and then click Refund under the Transaction Detail view. The transaction ID and full amount will be input into the refund view. If you do not wish to refund a full amount, you may input an amount that is less than the full amount, but you are not able to refund an amount more than the original purchase price. For electronic checks, click on Sale under the Electronic Check section, input the name on the account as it appears upon the check, input the routing number, account number, and the amount you wish to charge. If you know whether or not the account is a personal or business account, please indicate it, as well as whether it is a checking or savings account. The entry method that will be most commonly used is the prearranged payment and deposit. Billing information is very important when dealing with electronic checks. Information regarding billing is sent along with the request to authorize from the customer's bank, including at least the house number as well as the zip code is recommended, though not required. To void and refund electronic checks, it is much the same as a credit card. Simply input the transaction ID for voids and input the transaction ID and desired refund amount for refunds. The Customer Vault is an optional feature where you can store and maintain your customer's card information without having to keep physical copies or written down information of their account numbers. The Transaction Reports feature allows you to search for specific transactions or groups of transactions. When searching for groups, you can use the Transaction Snapshot to group by settlement batch, card or payment type, payment processor, user account, transaction source, day, week, month, and invoice number. Once you have selected your transaction snapshot group, simply specify the start and end date for the transaction snapshot to show you all relative information within your search criteria. When searching for specific transactions, simply use the Search Transactions section, specifying any criteria of your choice or knowledge, specifying a start and end date, and then hitting Submit. Once the desired transaction has been found, simply click on the ID link to view the transaction detail regarding that transaction.